And you're probably wondering what happened to the one villager that made it out of Siren Head Island. He was being hunted down by Siren Head. But eventually, he rebuilt a broken down car that was in the woods and finally made it out alive. The real question was of that video, did he actually survive? Or was it just a coincidence? At the end, it revealed itself as it was all just a dream. But was it actually a dream? Or was it something real? Today, we are gonna be finding out the truth between if it was a dream or not. And if you want to know what the real thing that happened was, then make sure to watch to the end. Man, I surely came quite a long way to get out of that island. My car even crashed, but I found a store. And now I bought a new one. Wow! What's that? Is that some sort of village? Oh my god. What is that on the top? Oh, just a coincidence. It's got a gate. The gate seems to be broken. And there it happened. He realised it wasn't a dream. Wait, I got told to wake up. Maybe it wasn't an illusion or a dream. Maybe it was actually real, he thought. As he went over to the fence, gee, this thing looked like that monster that I faced on that island broke it down. I don't need to worry about him anymore. Right? As he drived into the woods, saying to himself, gee, maybe I need to chop down some trees, you know. Because once I've chopped down the trees, like those spruce trees just there, maybe I could... Oh my god! No! My car crashed. As he wasn't paying attention, it smoked quite low. But then he saw, on the middle of a hill, a motorcycle. Yo! This is freaking awesome! This is flipping awesome! Who would have knew? He said happily as he went into the woods. Maybe, just maybe, a spruce woods will have a giant tree that I can use. But then his motorcycle fell into the water. But before he could react to it, he heard a scream in the woods and then said, "Oh, dang it, my motorcycle crashed." I think I just heard a scream. Let's go and check out what it was. But what he found really, really horrified him. He followed the direction, but before he saw it, he followed the direction that he had the scream come from. But what he found in the area was lots and lots of blood. First, it led from a trail into the woods, and that trail led into a cave. He licked it and said, "Wait, I know what this is. This is blood!" And then finally saw it. Well, probably a coincidence, he said to himself. And then followed the trail of blood anyway. I want to see where this leads to. And then saw it, what he wanted to see. Oh my gosh! Gosh! I heard of someone in the skull of someone and a 2-person bike. Well, no one else is looking, so I guess I can just nick this. Hey, it still works! Wow! Like I got myself something good. As he stole. But then he saw that it was actually brand new. As his car crashed and he didn't notice that until he finally saw it. But it wasn't there when he crashed his car. He swore. And he followed the trail of the blood back into the woods until realizing what had done this. It was a Ravager! But this didn't seem like any Ravager. It was actually a Ravager that had red eyes and it desired to kill. But unfortunately for him, the village leader gave him something before he left. Hey, he said to him, just in case you come across anything on your journey to chop down trees to repair a village. Because he told him before thinking about it and then fully doing it. Take this sword! It will help you swing down the tree just in case anything happens. And he listened, jumped at it, and then finally hit it about 7 times until the creature finally went down. Take that! But that was actually the village owner's pet. He actually had a pet Ravager, and this was a good Ravager, but something possessed it. It was almost, and he looked at the dead body of it and said, oh no, what am I going to tell to the chief after looking at his collar that said the chief's name. Then he realised his eyes were actually 100% red. And then he saw his ears. The dead body of the leader's pet's ears was actually covered in blood. They looked so messed up. But he just ignored it. But then something out of nowhere yelled at him so loud it sent him onto a hill. But he wasn't ready for that, so he fell off of the hill. And in a very quick thump, his bike and him fell down from a giant trench, landing in a deep sea cave. But fortunately for him, there was a water stream. He climbed up the water stream, but halfway up to the top. By the way, this is part 2 of the missing people case. By the way, just in case you didn't know that. Well, I guess you can say Siren Head. He climbed up, but when he was halfway there, he felt feeling that he was being watched. But thought it was nothing, and finally made it to the top. When he made it back, the village owner saw his sword covered in blood, his hands covered in blood. Him was a bit of burns and bruises from falling down. And the village owner said, whoa, looks like you got hit by a bus or something. But he just chucked his sword straight at him and then spat a few blood at him and gave the sword back and then climbed up to a watchtower he saw. And he said, what seems to be the matter, bro? I thought we were cool dudes. As they had already become friends. But he just came up and read an ancient book. Once he read it, he found in a chest lots and lots of supplies. Also, there's a guide about the forest that you probably won't need because it just tells you all of the twists and turns. It's basically a map. But he took it anyway. With potions of regeneration, the map, emeralds, iron swords. It was a supply kit. But he saw something in the distance. He couldn't fully picture it as he only saw it for a blink of an eye until it disappeared into the bushes after staring right at him. So he just jumped straight off as he had feather falling, went through the crack. But before he could do anything, he found some resources. And he also found rock iron. And before going to investigate it, he came back home and then set the rock iron on fire. And the rock iron didn't just die from the fire, it didn't just burn into pieces. The rock iron, something actually way better happened. The big lump of rock iron melted until the top came off, then the side, then the other side, then the middle. And the only thing that was left was thousands and thousands of gems. Also with a few rock iron cores. These were all minerals that he let the village leader collect. And the village leader said, could you maybe find a lot more rock iron, please? But he said, only if you let me get some stuff out of your chests. And he said, anything! Just give me the rock iron. Until he rewarded him with the village hero thing. With the village hero pants. Well, at least that's Sankey pants. As he went into the woods and done all sorts of crazy stuff. But what he brought back on his back shocked the whole village. A 2-block of rock iron. Or at least that's what they thought. Because when he melted it, thousands and thousands of rock irons came out. Then lots and lots of iron and gold. Lots more minerals from before. And he said it wasn't rock iron. It was something else he found from the elderly cave. But then everyone's mouth opened. You went to the elderly cave! Someone shouted. As in the background of that, all of the stuff was leaking. Lots and lots of red soil, but what came out of it shocked the whole village as well. An ancient sword that had blood on it. And what was written on the bottom of it was, use only on Siren. But then blood on the bottom, as they knew that the person who was writing that on the sword didn't have enough time to finish. Be used on Siren. As he just decided to go into the sword without hesitation, that one person. But then saw in a corner something very, very unusual. It was not even nature anymore that he was in. It was somewhere else in this universe. As he heard a few yells come. Then out of nowhere some pocket emeralds came that looked like they had been in someone's pocket with their sweat and blood on it. And then he saw it. Siren Head, he said, as it made an alarming voice trying to control him. He said, I left you on the island. But it just ignored him until finally noticing him. And it sent 7 shockwaves of loud siren noises straight at him, knocking him off of his feet. He just drank a potion of healing though. A potion of strength, potion of swiftness, and then ran straight into battle. With his diamond sword, he slashed the creature until it fell to the ground. And he had finally killed his biggest nightmare. He said, "Yes, I finally killed it. I finally got rid of the beast." Until finally looking behind him. What? As all of them fired 10 giant shockwaves of noise. They knocked him off his feet, almost pushing him over the cliff that he was on. And then they ripped the body part off of him. But that didn't make him give up. He knocked one away, killing it. Then jumped at the other with one arm missing, but it ripped one of his legs off too. And then the final one was the only one that was left. As he jumped into action and brought an iron axe out of his inventory. And then finally done the final hit. Knocking it down to the ground. But what it dropped shocked every single one of the villagers at what he brought back. It was one whore meat. This was called whore meat for looking like some meat that they knew was big and powerful, and it won great power. As he gave it to the leader said, "Wait, is this siren meat? You killed the siren monsters?" In a demanding voice. And then gave him hero armor, as he was the new hero of the village for killing the siren monster. And the hero armor made him sparkly. Until they heard the same noise, but just 1 trillion times louder. It shook the village. It sounded like 1 trillion lightning strikes at one time. It broken down the fences. It made shops collapse. It made buildings crumble as the bits were collected by villagers that tried to put it back together. Glass started to smash. All of the glass on the buildings. Until finally the loudest of them all got let out. It sounded like a nuclear bomb was getting lit. But then out of nowhere, a shockwave so strong came and started to destroy the village. First, the shockwave sent out a big loud crash through the village. As the so-called hero of the village, and the village leader was the only people left. And they knew it was from some sort of bigger creature. But you guys will need to wait till part 3 to find out who's the culprit. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want part 3. Never done a part 3 before, so this is the first one. And bye for now.